Hello guys, welcome back to another charity book haul video. If you watched my last video, you will know that me and my partner have recently got into reading, hence new bookshelves, and we have been going around charity shops all over Yorkshire and even outside of Yorkshire trying to find books on our list of books that we want to read. And we have been pretty successful. So if you haven't watched the last video, go and watch that one first, because once again, I have a lot of books to go through. We are trying to collect the whole series of The Wheel of Time. We've picked up book 1 and 2 in the last set of charity shops that we went to, and we actually managed to find book 14, which is the final book in the Wheel of Time series, and we managed to pick it up in this lovely hardback, and it cost us £1.50 from Age UK for a very nice copy of the final book in the Wheel of Time. So we are very happy with that. Unfortunately, I dropped it outside when we got home and it had been raining, so it's got a little bit of dirt on the edge now. The next one we picked up was The Martian by Weir. This is one that Andy wanted to read. I'm not bothered about reading this because I've seen the film, and this cost us 99p. Another hardback that we managed to find was Half King by Abercrombie. This is part of a series. I believe there are 3 books to this, and we will just keep an eye out for the others. This hardback is a signed edition, so this was a bit pricier. This one cost us £3. Another Abercrombie book we managed to pick up was The Last Argument of Kings. I believe this is part of another series. I'm not sure if it's a trilogy or not. Again, the Abercrombie books are books that Andy is collecting, so I don't know much about these. I think they're historical fiction. Next up is one of my books, and it's a romance book. I really enjoyed One Day in December by Josie Silver. I read it when I was on holiday one year, and I read it in like, it took me 2 or 3 days. This was like a couple of years ago before I really got back into reading, which has only happened in like the last couple of months. And I loved that book. Like, it made me laugh, it made me cry. I just remember really enjoying it, and I couldn't put it down. So I wanted to try another Josie Silver book. This is her second book, and it is called The Two Lives of Lydia Byrd. This book is about a couple who've been together for almost a decade, and then he dies in a car accident, and she gets another chance to relive her old life with him. But the bottom of the book says, what if there's someone in her new life who wants her to stay? So I'm excited to read this one, and I think she's got one more book. I think this is her second book, and she's got another book coming out. I can't remember if it's this year or next year. So if I enjoy this, I'll definitely be picking that up. The next book I picked up was Broken Throne. This is part of the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. Now, what I didn't realise when I picked this up is this is book 4.5, and I'm really interested in books 1 to 4. I didn't realise this was 4.5 in this series. I didn't realise there was a 4.5, but I have it now, so I can read it if I manage to get the others. Next one is one of Andy's books. It is Tana, Fringe, The Secret Place. So this is a series, and we actually watched, there was a TV programme, I think it was called The Dublin Murders, something like that, and it was based on, I'm not sure if it's the series or the first book. The first book is called Into the Woods, and Andy has been trying to collect the series because he really enjoyed the programme. I enjoyed the programme, but it was a little bit weird. It's a crime programme. There's 2 police officers that it follows, and one of them was involved in something where a child went missing when he was also a child, and you don't really know like what happened to the child. There's a lot of missing information, and he doesn't fully remember or know what happened. There ends up being a supernatural element to it, which is the bit that I was a bit like, oh, that was the bit that threw me off. But yeah, Andy will be reading the series, and then hopefully this will be clearer and he can give me a bit more information about that, because I did enjoy it, but like the supernatural element in the series is what threw me off because it wasn't explained very well. Another book I picked up is Two Can Keep a Secret. This is the follow-up, I believe, to One of Us is Lying, and this cost me £1.25. I also managed to pick up Graceling and Bitter Blue, which is a book 1 and book 3 in a series. I Need Fire, which is the second book, and I have not been able to find this so far. These were £1 each. Some other books we are trying to collect are, there's several series that are written by Robin Hobb, and it is fantasy. There's about 16 books, I believe. I think there's like 4 trilogies and then a set of 4, and they are to be read in sequence, one after the other. So this is from the first set of those, which is the Farseer trilogy, and this is book 3. We want to try and collect all of these. This one was 50p. Next I found book 1, which is City of Bones, and book 2, City of Ashes, in the Mortal Instruments series. There are 6 books in this series, and I want to collect all of them. I believe this is a YA series. It is based on a group of individuals called Shadow Hunters that are warriors that are dedicated to ridding the earth of demons, and the main character in this book finds out that she is one of them. Next up, I managed to pick up another first in a series, which is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stifarta. This is another YA book, and this cost me £1. Next up, I managed to find a couple more books in a series I've already started collecting. I have book 1 and 2 of this already. I believe this is book 4 and book 5. This is the Torment series. So I have Rapture and I have Passion. These cost me £1 and £1.25. Next, I picked up a hardback of The Push. I have seen this talked about online. I've heard that it's good. I wasn't 100% sure whether it was something I would enjoy, as it is about motherhood and I believe something that happens. I'm not entirely sure what. I don't want to know. In case you haven't figured it out, I don't like to know much about a book before I start reading it, so I tend to not read up too much on books, and this cost £1. Next up, I found books 1 to 4 in a series of 6 books. The 6th book has only just come out, and these cost me 50p to £1, and it is the Noughts and Crosses series by Mallory Blackman. So we've got Noughts and Crosses, Double Cross, Knife's Edge, and Checkmate. I'll just read you the back of the first book, which says, Seffi and Callum have been friends since early childhood, and that's as far as it can go, because theirs is a world full of prejudice, racism, distrust, and mounting terrorist violence. Despite all this, a romance builds between 2 friends, but this is a love that could lead them both into terrible danger. So these sound really interesting, and I am looking forward to reading them. Hopefully I can pick up the last 2 books at some point if I enjoy these. Next up, I managed to pick this book up for £1, and it is the Waterstones Clothbound edition of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. There is a bit damaged on the back, but I've heard that that is normal with these editions anyway, and I'm just really happy that I managed to find that in a charity shop for £1, and it has some nice illustrations in it. So I am excited to read this as well. Some more series I managed to fill in. I found another Nalini Singh book, which cost me 50p, and that is Archangel Shadow. I also managed to pick up City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. I think I also have one more of these in here. Yes, I managed to also pick up City of Heavenly Fire, which is book 6. So I am just missing book 5 from this series. This one costs £3, but it is a big book. We have been keeping an eye out for Stephen King books, and I managed to find Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining. Another of the Disney Twisted Tale books. I picked up Part of Your World, which is based on The Little Mermaid, and this cost me 50p. So, I wasn't planning on getting this book, but I saw it in a charity shop and it was £1.50, and it's the hardback edition of Midnight Sun. So, I thought for £1.50, I've read the rest of the Twilight books, I have them all, I may as well try read this. Another book that I managed to find, Andy actually spotted this one for me because it doesn't have the dust cover on, was a Sorcery of Thorns by Is it Margaret Rogerson? It doesn't say the full author name on here either. And this cost 50p. I've only heard good things about this so far. I haven't heard anyone say anything negative about this book, so this one I'm definitely excited to read. I believe this is a standalone as well, which will make a nice change from all the series I've been picking up. I just have one more bag of books to go through for this haul, and the first book is The Stationery Shop of Tyrann. This costs £2, and this is just one I came across on Goodreads and I really liked the sound of it, so I was keeping an eye out for it and I found it, so I'm really happy about that. The back of this book says that this beautiful novel explores themes of love and loss and delivers an unforgettable ending. I also managed to pick up One of Us is Lying, and this cost me £1, and it has the sprayed edges, so it matches the other sprayed edge copy that I got of Two Can Keep a Secret. I also found The Foundling by Stacey Hall. This was 99p. And it just says two women bound by a child and a secret that will change everything. This is also by the author that wrote The Familiars, which I believe I've heard quite a bit about. This is a little bit different for me. This isn't normally something that I would probably pick up, but I am just trying to figure out what I enjoy reading again, seeing as I haven't really read in large amounts since I was a teenager, and obviously my tastes may have changed by now. Maybe I won't be as into the YA stuff, maybe I'll prefer more adult stuff. So yeah, I'm trying a few different things. I want to try and figure out what I enjoy reading as an adult. I also managed to find Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. We recently watched Shadow and Bone, the Netflix series, and I kind of got the impression that the series is not as in-depth as the books. So yeah, I do want to read the Shadow and Bone series and also the Six of Crows series. This one cost £3.50, and I've only just noticed when I picked it up just now, on the inside of this book, I won't say the name, but it says, "This book belongs to X. Do not touch or face a painful death." It's a bit late for that. So I don't know what happened, but this has ended up in the charity shop and I have picked it up. I picked up another Ruth Weir book. This is The Woman in Cabin 10, and this one cost me 50p for a hardback. I've just noticed under the cover it has this lovely water design. So this says, "How do you stop a killer when no one believes that they exist?" A woman wakes in the night to see a body thrown overboard from the next door cabin. But the records show that no one ever checked into that cabin, and no passengers are missing from the boat. This is about a woman that thinks that she might be trapped on board a boat with a murderer and is the sole witness. And the final book that I picked up was The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This cost me £1.59 and it is a hardback. And this is a mystery. Evelyn Hardcastle dies whilst there is a party being held at her house, and basically this is about a guest who is reliving the same day over and over again until he can figure out who killed her, and each morning he wakes up in the body of a different guest. I've heard good things about this. I think I've seen a couple of mixed reviews about this, but it sounds interesting and it's an interesting concept and I'm looking forward to reading it. So that's everything I have for you today, guys. There will be possibly 2 more of these videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss them, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.